Coming up on the Musashi X Chronicles.
有我在，我们上吧！有我在，我们上吧！
At first glance, when I saw the E3 trailer of Spider-Man, I never really gave it that much thought, as it would probably be another cash grab comic book license game. But then the game revealed as to who's developing it. Enter one of my favorite developers, Insomniac Games, and for those that are unfamiliar with the studio, they created the first 3 Spyro the Dragon games before various studios were fighting for the rights until Activision has ownership, the first-person shooter series Resistance, and the ever-familiar and still fun Ratchet & Clank series. I even had the honor of meeting founder and CEO of Insomniac Games, Ted Price, during the second year of PAX South. I was shocked to hear of Ted Price's appearance at the convention from staff members after the announcement of the studio's convention appearance. Such great times in the event. Now, I usually find comic book license games, at least in the 7th generation of gaming, to be more miss than hits, with only a few exceptions. For instance, I enjoyed playing the Batman Arkham games on the PlayStation 3. But upon looking at the gameplay of Spider-Man, it's like you take the success of both Spider-Man 2 the movie game, along with the Batman Arkham games, put them on the blender together, and what you have is one game that I think, or at least what many people would say, that would finally be the Spider-Man game that finally dethrones Spider-Man 2. So here's my review of Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4. I don't think I need to spoil the story too much, as I don't want to ruin the plot for those that are just starting to buy the game, but I can definitely say that the overall narrative is being presented very well. I will say that the first thing that happens is that you're being tasked of helping the police arrest Wilson Fisk, who we all know as the Kingpin, one of Spidey's major enemies. Eventually, Kingpin is arrested, but his incarceration would only set other events into motion, which I'll leave that up to you players to see the next plot unfold. The way the story transitioned itself is actually quite similar to that of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, in that just when you think there's only one villain throughout the whole movie, you can expect some unexpected twists to make the story even more suspenseful and intriguing. That's one thing the story got right, expecting the unexpected. As you progress through the game, you'll encounter other familiar characters such as Mary Jane Watson, who he had broken up with in this game, and in a role reversal now works for the Daily Bugle, Spidey's old job. Yeah, Peter Parker is actually a scientist and is also a computer expert as well. Fancy that. There will be certain story points in which Peter is also adjusting to life outside the superhero work, such as getting support from his aunt, May Parker, who helps run a homeless shelter, as well as working in a laboratory under the supervision of another familiar face, Dr. Otto Octavius, who has visions in advanced prosthetics. You'll also encounter other characters in the story, such as a young Miles Morales who knows a thing or two about hacking things, and Norman Osborn, who is actually a mayor in this game, but still just as shady no matter the universe. Yeah, I'll say that the whole story is completely new and not something derived from a pre-existing story arc. This is Insomniac's own original story. Other familiar faces are relegated to just voice roles such as Norman's son Harry Osborn, Felicia Hardy, better known as the Master Thief Black Cat, and the all too well-known Spidey hater J. Jonah Jameson, who has retired from the Daily Bugle and now runs a podcast show, which still has him hating on good old Spidey. Yup, same old JJ. It's great that the personalities of these characters are how they would be portrayed from the source material, especially with Spider-Man having his usual struggles of adjusting through his double life and the challenges he had to face, while other characters are more fleshed out than what we initially know them to be, such as Mary Jane, given her occupation in this game. Instead of being a typical damsel in distress, she's made to be strong-willed and will take a risk to get the scoop she needed, essentially making her this game's 1980s April O'Neil. It's this kind of characterization that makes us grow to like them even more. But what of the game's graphics? I'd say it's one of the most wonderfully designed superhero game in recent memory. The models for the game's characters are created and detailed nicely to look extremely close to actual human beings as possible, in addition to how they animate. Although the model design of LA Noire's characters are more realistic, the character designs of Spider-Man has done great justice. As for the design of the open world, when you go exploring, the studio has done a great job of creating and capturing the feel of New York City for this game. Just like the character models, the way they use color, texture design, and saturation in the game is done to ensure that it is also as real as the actual city. The studio didn't waste any time on making sure the city's major locales are included, such as New York's Times Square, the Radio City Music Hall, or the world-famous Madison Square Garden for any wrestling fans out there. But then, given the popularity of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Insomniac felt that it'll be great to see major areas in the films and Netflix be referenced, such as the Rand Corporation from Iron Fist, the Nelson and Murdoch offices from Daredevil, the Wakanda Embassy from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Heck, you could take a picture of the Avengers Tower, insignia and all. Very cool. Sound presentation is nice as well, as the game uses orchestral compositions like the Marvel films would, and it fits well in a game like this, especially when the piece always keeps playing the very second you web swing around New York. Previously in my Marvel vs. Capcom retrospective, I stated that I would rather have the orchestral music be on the Marvel films, and honestly, the character themes on the Marvel side would fit better on this game or any other good superhero game. I also praise the game's use of sound effects, ranging from the attacks you land on enemies, or explosions and glasses breaking whenever a major catastrophe is taking shape. The characters in the game have good voice actors, with Yuri Lowenthal as the Spider himself, Laura Bailey as Mary Jane, Yuri Lowenthal's real-life wife Tara Platt as Captain Yuri Watanabe, Travis Willingham as the Kingpin, or Erica Lindbeck as Felicia Hardy, just to name a few. The game's voice actors have put such heart, soul, and emotion into giving life to these characters, and also help introduce these characters to gamers that are slowly getting into the Spider-Man mythos. And finally, we get to the meat of the game, the overall gameplay. I stated earlier that it's like blending both Spider-Man 2 the movie game with the Batman Arkham games, and when you start playing this game, it becomes more apparent. Just having that chance to web swing and explore the town to your leisure brings so much happiness, and the controls and flow of doing so makes you feel like you really are Spider-Man. Swinging at high speeds, making those sharp turns, and zip from different buildings to pick up speed. Want to get up a high-rise faster? No problem. Just hold that R2 button and watch Spidey run on the side of the building and even parkour through different rooftops. Perform a quick launch upon zipping through a perch point, and hey, why not drop down from a high rise while holding that R2 button and watch him swing again really fast. Feels like playing Spider-Man 2 again, only more streamlined. The combat system is another worth talking about. As good as the mechanics are for Batman Arkham Asylum, it works even better for Spider-Man given his superpowers. You can punch and kick your enemies, pay attention to your spider sense and dodge bullets and rockets, shoot webs to stun them, or use objects that you can throw. The bosses in the game are fun to fight, although they can give you some trouble the first time around. I know I have, but once you get the pattern down, the fights become even more entertaining, and after some damage done, or after inputting QuickTime commands, they become checkpoints, so should you lose from the next part of the match, you'll restart on that part of the match instead of the very beginning, which is very convenient. This game has full of side quests to fulfill, and believe me, it's better to do them now before you continue on with the main story because of all the stuff that you can unlock. They can range from taking out enemies from towers owned by the Kingpin or the Inner Demons, stopping random crimes around the city a la True Crime Streets of LA if you ever played that game, or collecting backpacks containing Peter's memorabilia. There will be sections in the game that require stealth and using the environment to cause distractions and taking out your enemies silently and with style, or humorously take them out with a scaffolding. It's great that you have the R3 button to scan for any nearby enemies, which is what the Batman Arkham games used prior. In addition to the Spider-Man missions, there will be missions where you take control of Peter Parker and solve puzzles to help out Octavius, or figuring a mystery of what's happening in the story, and there will also be missions where you take control of Mary Jane Watson or Miles Morales in sneaking through security, which is tricky the first time, but after a few tries, you'll get the hang of it. Completing these missions will earn you both experience points and specific tokens. Just like the Batman Arkham games, as well as a typical RPG, you'll level up Spider-Man through experience points and raise up your stats, and each level earns you a skill point. These skill points are used to help you gain speed on exploring, improve your combat skills, or provide new tactics in taking down your opponents, such as yanking a weapon away or cover your assailant in web and use him as a weapon that you can throw. You can get different colored tokens depending on the type of mission, whether it be crime tokens for stopping crimes, and these crimes also have bonus objectives to help gain extra tokens, research tokens for helping out problems for Octavius or Harry, landmark tokens for taking pictures of major locations like the Avengers Tower, or challenge tokens that you earn for completing challenges from Taskmaster. These suits are used to help create different suits for Spider-Man to wear, and each of these suits has a specific suit power that you can unlock to use in battle when your suit power energy is full, and you can equip any unlockable suit power to any suit of your choice, whether to gain more focus energy or swing criminals around without the need to web them when activated. The second use for the tokens is making suit mods, which you can only equip 3 at a time. It can range from raising focus while using gadgets or getting more experience points in battle. The game also brings great fan service with the many suits that you can craft. Whether it's Scarlet Spider, Spider-Man 2099, or with the DLC pre-order code, I get to use the Iron Spider suit from Avengers Infinity War. The third use for the tokens is crafting your spider weapons, but some can only be crafted either by progressing through the story or leveling up to a certain point. Once you make the weapon, you can use your tokens to improve a weapon's performance, such as increasing a web shot's power. These weapons can range from a web shot with double the force, a web shot with the power of a taser, or a bomb that explodes webs to cover a huge crowd. Insomniac really placed so much time and effort to make a Spider-Man game to give players the ultimate Spider-Man experience, and what they've done is a perfect example of how to make a comic book license game done correctly, rather than just completely rushing it for a quick cash grab. As great as the main story is, it's the side quest that makes the game so entertaining. It's those feelings of stopping crimes, earning tokens, using them to get the various suits to wear, and upgrading your spider moves and weapons makes it very worth your time. I must say that after investing so much time into playing this game, just having the feeling of being like Spider-Man, this game really delivers in a big way. I can't stress enough how much I love playing Spider-Man 2 as well as Batman Arkham Asylum, but this game, figuratively, brings the best of both worlds, both in open world exploration as well as gameplay. Everything this game does, it definitely warrants a perfect 10. You don't have to be a fan of Spider-Man or comic books in general just to enjoy this game. In fact, this game is very easy to pick up and play, and you can invest so much time as you like to get most out of the game before you beat it. But as for Spider-Man fans, we all know the famous saying from Peter Parker's deceased uncle, Ben Parker. With great power comes great responsibility, which is very true, by the way. However, with great teamwork, designing, and quality control comes a great game. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you like what you have to see here. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for any future videos I would upload soon, and feel free to share this video with your friends, just in case they like this game or any other videos that I have uploaded. And don't forget to like and follow me on Facebook. Until then, this has been Musashi X, and I bid you all farewell, take care, and stay tuned.